but Joel's gone, Justin will be late. And can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All right, approved by acclamation. So new business. I spoke to Brent from the Views last year briefly about, oh wait, Glenn, sorry, you're gonna go ahead and take this over and talk about what you have to talk about because you have another meeting to go to, and I'm totally sorry I skipped ahead there. So please take it away.
That's okay. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Last time we talked about the me going to get a consultant to help with our communication stuff and help do some of the things you guys are talking about and do a full evaluation of our program. So I talked to a couple of them. I have one that provided a proposal. It's the assessment somewhere between 3,000 and 6,000, depending on how many hours I have or use. Because that's the case, and because I can sign a contract that way, and I'm going to use the manager, my discretionary funds to do it, because I believe it's as important as a thing as we have, that I can go ahead and move forward with that. So I'm going to do that, and then either this meeting or the next one, probably a meeting or two down the road for you, we will have her present the results to you first before it goes to anyone else. And you guys can kind of give feedback and go from there. But I want to give you a heads up, that's what we're doing. And that will start very soon. I'll let the finance committee and board as a whole know that we're doing that as well. But I wanted to let you guys know first, since it's your area.
So what's their scope of work again?
I actually will send you a copy of the scope of work that we agreed to and her proposal.
Okay.
So you guys could, and again, any
Sounds
questions you have about the proposal, feel free to send me an email or give me a call.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So you'll see that in the next, probably tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to skate off to my other one and get a bite to eat, but thank you.
Thanks.
Have a
All
good
right,
night.
enjoy. Good seeing you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Glenn. Have a good night.
Bye, Glenn.
You too.
See you tomorrow.
All right, so sorry, I completely took that in a direction I wasn't supposed to, but yeah, so I spoke with Brent last year, and I really wanted to do like a video showing how the Views is created from start to end. And, you know, I know there's a lot of flack in the community about the Views, but according to the survey that was done, a lot of people still read it. So I think it would be awesome to show the community and to get our feet wet with doing some social, you know, video work or something a little exciting to do a feature on the Views. I have some camera equipment. I just need to figure out the mic situation, but it would be great to interview Brent and, you know, have him, you know, come up with some questions for him and talking about his process and maybe a little backstory on the Tribune to kind of showcase them, and then take it through their design process, what it looks like on press, and how it gets sent out, and, you know, just kind of like a start to beginning on how this all works. I think it'd be kind of a cool little how it's made type of video.
Mhm.
I can work with scheduling all that, and, you know, whoever wants to help, that would be awesome. But I think for right now, it would be great to come up with some questions. There you go. Waiting for Ranger to perk up. It would be great to come up with some questions for him, at least start some preliminary questions, and go from there. I'm not sure where else to take this, but usually, you know, I try to, when we interview people like at work, you know, it's like kind of like full sentence structure questions. you know, where he's repeating it and kind of like create a story based around that. So we need to just have enough questions to be able to get enough content from Brent.
Okay.
How much content
So-
are we looking? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
How much content are we looking to, like, what? How much content do we want for the end result?
I would say a minute 20, minute 30-second video, something short and
Okay.
sweet.
Okay.
Every time I've talked to Brent, he seems to really enjoy doing it. So I think he would, or he puts on a good front, but he seems
No,
to
he
really
seems
enjoy it.
excited
Really
when I proposed this to him.
So I think he probably will have a lot to say because it's
Yeah, I
something-
mean, the typical thing, tell me about you and, you know, what you do here and stuff like that. But are there any questions that that you all can think of that you would like to know about the process, or, you know, how they work, or how Brent decides what goes in the paper, or, you know, is there a strategy to how the content is, or like what's the process of how it's printed and so on and so forth.
Okay.
We could also ask about any sort of, for the lack of a better term, myths that he'd like to bust, like any misconceptions that he would like to clarify, like about whether it's view specific or newsprint specific. I mean,
Okay,
that's
a good idea.
I also kind of wonder if, you know, beyond the sort of the technical and the sort of the, you know, the specifics of how it's done, maybe going into why, you know, why he does it, you know, why it's, you know, if he's been at it for so long, what's interesting to him about the community and such, what kind of fuels the desire on his part to get this paper out.
That's perfect. I mean, one question that I have is like, how long does it take once it's on press to print our monthly run of the views, you know? Because those machines are like boom, 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 but we're talking thousands of copies, you know? And I know he loves doing it. I mean, there's enough drama and intrigue for Sudden Valley for him to, you know, find joy in it, I'm sure.
There's probably some element of that as a journalist, I bet.
Yeah. Now we got Ben Franklin coming to our doorstep doing raps, you know. It's about to get interesting.
Exactly.
oh man, the first thing I do when I get home is I'm gonna look up Ben or Bud as Ben. I'm excited.
You gonna make a mixtape?
I think he's already on that. I think he's already doing it. I don't want to step on his toes.
What's his name again?
Bud as Ben.
Okay, cool.
Liz, there was a gentleman that came up to the window and he's 87. He's a
Uh-huh.
rapper and he's also a Ben Franklin impersonator.
And he lives here in Sudden Valley?
I'm pretty sure because he said that he saw something on the views but yeah, he was looking for somebody to produce his music and he was just a hoot and holler to talk to.
Oh,
He's a
that's
good
so-
rapper too. He can rhyme and everything.
I'm gonna have to look that up too.
Yeah, it
That's
was pretty funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It gives me a hope for my future.
Yeah.
All right, what else can we think of? What you got, Ann? You're good at questions.
Oh, for Brent?
Yeah.
My question, I always wonder, how does he, I'm assuming he doesn't only write for Sudden Valley. Does he write for the Tribune as well?
Okay.
I'd be curious to know how he sees it evolving, if he sees it evolving. I mean, does he think that
That's
the
great.
format it's in right now is the one that it should always be in, or, you know, does he have a concept for what he would like to see it?
That's a good question.
Like if he can do anything with the paper that he's
Mm.
not doing now, what would that be?
That's a good one. How long has he been doing it? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess maybe like 7 years, 7, 8 years. Maybe a little bit less than that. I'm not sure.
I think it might be a little less. He told me something about when he was first asked to take it over, how people told him that he probably wouldn't like it, but he ended up really loving it. So
We will ask him.
yes.
Um, I know that they continue to look for content to fill up the paper with. So that might be something to ask, like, or at least ask it. We know it, but at least him saying that, we'll put it out there for people to, you know, maybe think about submitting more articles or other deals to the paper. Hey, Justin.
Sorry, I'm late, guys.
That's all right. Thanks
Justin.
for joining us.
Need to do better job at updating my future calendar.
I don't even use a calendar, Justin.
It's all up here.
Yeah, no, I don't know where it's at. It just appears. What we're talking about the views, and just to briefly go through this real quick, I approached Brent last year wanting to do a little video showing how the process from submitting an article or, you know, just the process of creating the views to how it's printed and ultimately delivery, kind of showing a like how it's made project, and interviewing Brent a little bit about it. Because, you know, with our survey that went out, a lot of people are reading the views, and, you know, it's been quite a interesting subject for a lot of people. And but at the same time, with people reading it and trying to get more on social with some of the stuff that we do, I think it would be good to have a little video and to interview him and just create a little story. So right now what we're doing is just coming up with some questions that we can ask Brent to help push the story along.
Okay.
And he's totally open to it. He loves the idea. So, you know, we don't have anything planned as far as when this will happen or how it will happen. I've got a camera. I've done this stuff before. So I'll just need, you know, volunteer help with this. But yeah, so far I've got some rough notes. I'm sure Ann's got better ones, but so far what
I
we
saw you typing, so
you didn't do it? Okay, I'm good then.
just the questions I saw you typing, so I
Okay,
stopped doing those.
that's all right. I'm glad I wasn't typing something else that has nothing to do with this, so we're good.
Be cool
So
if
so
like
Mine
far
is
we
it's
have
recording.
I
what's
have a good
what's
memory.
interesting to him as far as the, you know, the views in Sudden Valley goes, myths about the views that he could possibly answer. How long does it take to create the views from start to finish? Does Brent also write and edit for the Tribune? Does he see the views evolving, or if he could do anything with the paper, what would it be? How long has he been an editor? And I think that's what we have so far. So we would love your input, Justin, on some questions.
Yeah, it's funny. The first thing I thought of when you said video, do a little video, it'd be super cool to get a shot of the paper going through the, you know, the printing.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen, Justin. Believe you me. It's
Be
gonna
like
look awesome.
be like an old '70s newspaper movie or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, show him setting the type for it, the old lead type.
Right.
Yeah, we can have like who was that? I don't know, some old Renaissance guy dressed up and kind of looking over it.
We
We'll
could
make-
get
we'll
Bud.
make-
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
be wearing
We've
this
got Ben Franklin.
Yeah, Ben Franklin, John.
We've got Bud.
That's it, Bud. That's what you said, Lauren. See, I can't even focus. Justin, there
That's
was a Ben Franklin. I'm gonna let Lauren tell the story since she's told it to us 5 times already.
He's a resident. He's 87. He's a Ben Franklin impersonator, and he's a rapper. And all those things are mixed together as one. Just truly a blessing. Just a hoot and a holler.
Yeah, I
But
think
his
this is
YouTube
meant to
channel
be
is
because
Bud
we're gonna
as
do a
Ben.
feature on him.
But yeah,
Looks like
he
a
gave me his
low,
card, so
looks like a-
I have it here
it's
in
like
the
a low
office.
rent Hamilton kind of, or
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's awesome.
oh,
That's
fun.
Pretty convincing though. His pictures on the front.
I'd pay $10 to watch that, I guess. So.
Gotta be something. Yeah.
We don't have to. I think he's on YouTube.
Oh,
You can watch it for free.
Maybe we should invite him to a meeting.
Yeah.
sounds like an article idea.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Wow. Yeah. Actually.
So
So
do
other
you think that's
question.
enough questions? I mean, because usually there's a little bit of banter and other dialogue that happens with this and more that'll come off of it. Is there anything else pertinent that you guys can think of asking Mr. Brent?
Just maybe like basics, like how long you been doing it. Trying to think what else.
If we need more content, we could ask like favorite thing about your job, least favorite thing about your job. But if it's going to be like a minute and 20 seconds around there, then I mean, I'm sure with the process, going through the process and taking video of that, I think
Well,
that
I'm
we,
thinking it's going to be him talking and then, it'll be cuts from him to the process with him doing voiceover.
okay, so you're thinking voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
For those curious too, I found references in emails going back as far as 2014 with Brent. So he's been with us for a while.
He has been.
At least that
Maybe
far.
you can say like a general question, like what do you think the importance is of still having a physically printed newspaper, maybe?
That's good. Yeah, man, how am I going to look at the views when my power's out, right? Sorry.
Well, that's what,
Goofy.
3 times a month out in Sudden Valley?
Yeah, pretty much. Don't jinx us, John.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
sorry.
right.
I
That
have,
messes
backup,
me up too. So
I have backup generator envy from some of my neighbors. So.
You haven't made that leap yet?
No, I think we need to. We might be building here this summer, so that'll hopefully be included.
Cool. If you think that's fine, I mean, I'm comfortable with this. I'll see if there's anything else, but I'll tweak these and make them sound good, and then I'll send them to Brent so he has an idea, and then we can start planning on like when we can do this and whatnot. So thank you. That's that. The other item that we had was the website structure and organization. Have you guys had a chance to look at any of that?
I have to admit, I have not.
Yeah, I
I
haven't.
have to
either.
admit.
That's okay.
I
Dog ate
cannot
your
tell why.
homework. I get it.
Ben Franklin in the Valley,
So well, let's just jot some notes down here real quick. Let me pull this up.
Not sure if you guys spotted it too, but I've given the committee pages a little bit of an overhaul.
Yeah, I saw that.
The parks is fancy.
Yeah, they're all like that except for the board at this point. I'll probably
Oh.
update the board tonight.
Board.
That's a smart way to do it, though.
Yeah, I like that the agenda's like right there.
I'm trying to work on, well, this isn't really priority, so it's kind of when I can, getting with Glenn and seeing if we can do like sort of like an internal staff picture day, so we can add pictures to the contact page to, you know, put a name to a face. But sort of in that same vein, I think that, well, the nameplates are fine and that works, but maybe for like, I mean, maybe it's just board specific, maybe it's for all the committees, it's kind of up in the air, but we could do like a little picture day type thing. So that, because I did like in the, I noticed that all the pictures for the forward people that were in on the ticket, and Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like you guys all sort of coordinated, went to the same location. And I thought that looked really, really nice and very professional. It just added a nice.
Yeah, we had a pretty good photographer. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I liked how that looked. It looked very, yeah.
That's awesome. I would like to do that on all of those, you know, staff and, you know, make it look legit.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. So what I'll do is I mean, we don't have to finish this right now. You know, we have all year to do this. Not that I want to push it off, but I just want to take a look at some of these sections and see what we need. So let me figure out how to do this screen share thing again.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to go. I have to run. I'm being called.
That's
I'm-
okay. Thanks for joining us, Liz. It was good to see you.
Stay longer. I really am. Okay, so I will find out. You'll let me know if there's anything you need
Yes,
in the
for
interim.
sure.
Okay, thanks, guys, so much for
Bye,
everything.
Liz.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay. Share screen, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the mobile version here. It looked
Oh, don't do that.
too bad. I like the
I will
comments.
say though that the gym scheduling is the only thing that works on mobile. Only thing.
Okay, did this share large to your screen?
Yep,
Yeah.
looks great.
Okay, cool. So this is that one that I showed you prior, and this is how I thought that the site could work flowchart wise. So I guess what we need to do is compare and contrast this. And if there's anything missing, and I'm totally sorry if I have a spelling error on this. I think I ran spell check, but you know how that goes. So if there's anything missing here, what would that be? And then what else could we add? Like one thing that I thought of just briefly looking at this was maybe we can have like a link for clubs or something like that, and other ways that people can get involved of who wants to have that kind of stuff featured. That's the only thing I have at this point, but I guess, yeah, what are we missing here? And
I'm assuming
How could we make
security phone number will be under emergency links under contacts.
yeah, I mean, I have security under about, so I don't know if that's,
You could put it both places and it wouldn't hurt.
yeah, that's true. And can you write notes on this?
Yes.
Okay. Please. Thank you.
Let me get my dog first.
just as a suggestion for here, under news and events, and I don't know where this is gonna go now, but I'm working on a page for just like road closures and road restrictions.
Right.
That will automatically populate from the posts. And I think that, yeah, I think it should probably have its own little category. That way it's easier for people to find.
Okay. You know what would be awesome is if when it's time for snow events or burn bans or anything serious, it would be nice if we can implement a sticky navigation to the site, where, you know, a lot of sites have them now, where, well, I guess it's just a banner now. Sticky nav is like when you start scrolling, your navigation stays at the top. But it would be good to have a banner up top, kind of like how a lot of these sites have the COVID banners, you know, restaurants have them on there. But if we can have a banner at the top that is like emergency info, or, you know, where you can get that information when it's when it's about to happen. That way it's at the forefront, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like a notification bar at the top, where
Yeah.
it comes up like in a yellow or a red or something that is
Right.
highly noticeable if there's a specific serious event that's occurring at that time.
Precisely.
Gotcha.
And then that's something that, like, when we have this developed, we can have it, you know, hey, we need this plugin so that whenever we implement it, you know, it's available. We don't have to go to someone and ask them to set this up or anything. We can already have it there. And then we can just link that to the pages that are created for those deals. Now, I don't think we need to have that for like a road closure or anything, unless
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
super important. Like if Alger's closed, I mean, it would be kind of cool to have that, because that stinks to drive through all the gates and you realize Alger's closed when you're trying to go to Mount Vernon or something, like
Yeah.
I did the other week.
Oh,
How are news and events? So I see that right in the middle, there's news and events. And one thing that pretty frequently has come up with me over time is the combination of, well, we've got the regular website posts that come up. They're just sort of right now in a list. And
Right.
the most recent ones just sort of at the top there. I've seen on other sites where they have sort of a most recent events, sort of a scroll. But in this navigation example here, we've got news and events as sort of its own segment.
Right.
Do we want to have something on the front page that gets people to news and events? Do we
Yeah,
want-
for sure. I think,
yeah, kind of like this right here, where you had it at the, I think at the top, this sort of,
oh, like the
yes.
carousel.
Yeah, the carousel.
So, yeah, what I'm thinking is like the big things like Clean Green, or, you know, if, you know, there's a Christmas thing or whatever would be considered an event, you know, especially like really community driven things. I know a lot of people take advantage of Clean Green and the Firewise stuff. So having that at the forefront would be great. If there's an AGM, you know, super awesome picture, AGM, here's the stuff. But,
Gotcha.
you know, and then I'm thinking like latest news, these would be your road restrictions, snow updates, any kind of COVID stuff or whatever would be newsworthy, right? And then you'd have the read more, which would go to a news archive.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing, events calendar. So, you know,
Okay.
I would like to split those up. And so if you're looking for an event, you don't have to wade through a whole bunch of news or anything like that. And we have a calendar. currently, but it would be cool to kind of take those items out of the calendar and kind of accentuate them, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I think this is great. Honestly.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, I mean, I think both of those are definitely front page, homepage worthy. And so it's like, yeah, well, I guess latest news or events, you know, if it's really important, sorry, I'm kind of like I'm tired. But yeah, I think the carousel, you know, if it's super important to have that there. And then I guess like my personal goal with this is to make it more cultural, more like a thriving community site would be, you know?
Mhm.
And I want to make something that we can all be proud of, and you know, that's easy to use at the same time. So functionality first, and that's why I'm kind of trying to address like what we need in this navigation, and then design and aesthetics and all that feel good stuff afterwards. You know, Lauren, you were talking about t-shirts and stuff the other day. You know, it'd be awesome to eventually set up a shop on here, you know. I know golf has stuff in their shop, but I mean, to have something that's just Sudden Valley general, you know, that any
Yeah.
resident knows how to get to, and then
Yeah,
you can have like a shop on Threadless or something.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying too, Josh, because I was looking at this and I was kind of like, oh, should we have something for, you know, what do you need to know? Say you're thinking of moving to Sudden Valley and it's the first time you look at this page, but then the like overview and FAQ kind of addresses that. And then when you go back to the other thing there, it kind of already does it. It's sort of, yeah, it's sort of like welcome to Sudden Valley, you know. And
Right.
yeah, I think I think it does a really good job, or will do a really good job of, you know, that person who's coming to the site for the first time thinking of moving here too.
I mean, that gives me an idea too. I mean, we can have a feature on here on this scrolling thing. It's like, you know, new to Sudden Valley, visit this page and, you know, learn all you need to know, or something like that. Welcome new residents, or, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. Sort of expanding upon that, I've kind of noticed that there are different needs based off of different stages that they're at. If this is the first time that they've been to the site, they're looking for different things. They're looking for what amenities do we offer, just sort of general broad things. When people are more seriously looking, they're further in the buying process, they're wondering, they're asking what the dues are, what the transfer fee is, more pointed questions like that, building restrictions, things like that. Also, we get calls from real estate agents, and Oryx set up on the resident resources page new information information for new buyers and real estate agents, and that has been super helpful to just be able to direct people so that I don't have to try to describe, or I mean, try and find it when I can sort of direct them to that. It's easy to find. And also people that move in, they have their hands full with moving. And so what kind of information, how do they set up their dues? What avenues of payments can they do? If they want to paint their house, do this. So I think that there's definitely a lot of overlap between those three categories, but I mean, we could even put that into one page and just have like 3 different avenues of, are you looking to buy? Are you going to move in, and have you moved in? Sort of like categorizing it by that.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and you could cross links
then,
too, like
like-
have a link in there for overview, FAQ, and common forms, like,
Yeah,
double up on the links.
And I think,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
if any of these need to be named different, I mean, these are just, rough ideas, but what you said about the builders and, looking at this, there needs to be something about, or what would you call that? Or where would you place that for, like, hey, I want to make a change to my home. When I moved here, I didn't know what the hell ACC was, So I called the front office to find out if I could remove some ferns, and I felt weird because everyone said it was like no big deal, but like what kind of section would you put that under? What would you call that stuff, and how can we?
Isn't that under the ACC stuff?
Yeah, but like, what
Under-
would you? I don't think I even have that on here, do I?
well, that would fall under potentially the regulations and covenants. It might be a little bit covered just because of ACC policies, but that doesn't really go into it. We're also, I mean, for the staff department, well, that's directory. We are looking, or at one point we were working on making like department specific informational pages.
Right.
And ACC
Well, we
would
can
have
definitely do that.
all of the information, sort of just giving it an overview. I talked with Susie a little bit today about potentially making what form do I need to use decision tree to help people pick or figure out which form that they need depending on the scope of their project.
That's cool.
Yeah, we need to flesh it out a little bit more, but so
Well,
many-
when you have that set, can you send me some details on what maybe, because
yeah,
I'm just trying to think of like, how would we introduce that? And based on what you said about people calling and you're giving them links to stuff, like imagine I just moved here. I don't like the color of my house. What do I do? I go to the website. What do I look for? And I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking now, other than just like getting all the main things that we need. What makes this user friendly for a new resident or someone who hasn't really like had to deal with any of that? Is that Ghostbusters?
it's Jason, the janitor.
Okay.
A lot
I'll
of-
be sure to put that in my notes, Josh.
We're very serious in this committee, just so everyone knows. So what, I want to change my house color, or I want to paint my deck hot pink. How do I know this is an HOA and there's rules. I'm going to the website. What do I select? What is that called? So that's kind of like where I want to solve those types of issues.
Yeah, and I think that that's what the resident resources should be. Frequently, I get a lot of those calls of, I went on the website, I couldn't find it, so I called you. And first I apologize for our site. And then
Come on, Lauren, you got to be proud, man. That's like,
I am proud, but a lot of the times they're like, maybe I'm just stupid and couldn't find it. And I'm like, no, it is not it. No, this is hard for a lot of people. And
Is
all right, let's make it easy for him.
yeah, I think that maybe having some sort of a site directory, maybe if we can't find a specific place that screams like, hey, if you want to change your house, click here. where it's like, where do I find this sort of a thing on the site? So, I mean, I'm just spitballing. I don't know what that exactly,
that's
how we
fine.
would go about that. If that would be really, really overcomplicated or what, but hopefully that would be covered. I mean, hopefully if somebody's a new resident and they want to paint their house, we can have information in the new resident packet that would sort of introduce them to that, get their feet wet. So that if they see ACC on the website, they would say like, hey, I kind of remember something vague about that, or let me go grab my folder and take a look.
Right.
And we could include the new resident packet in electronic form in here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that as a link in here. I don't know why I said pack, but whatever.
You might want to, it might want to be new and old, because there's a lot of useful
Oh,
information in there for people who have lived here.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Like, what would you say though? Like ACC, it is what it is. We have to get permission to do certain things. But
They
if someone doesn't know what ACC is,
They
Yeah.
oversee neighborhood aesthetics.
right? But not that part. But I mean, like, how do I know to go to find out I'm supposed to talk to ACC or submit a form, right? So is that covered under common forms, or what would that be called? Does that make any sense? Do you
Yeah,
see what
no.
I'm getting at?
Yeah, and it wouldn't hurt to also kind of like, I know when we moved here and I built a fence, I'm like, oh, geez, I got to go through this. This is going to be such a pain, and dealing with an HOA. And I mean, it turned out to be easy and, got rubber stamped and, maybe to write sort of like kind of unvilify him maybe a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perception of it at first, or, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, they don't like being told they can't do something, but
Mhm.
maybe explain that, hey, they're on our side. It keeps property values up because people aren't painting their decks hot pink, and, and it's not as bad of a process as you may think. I don't know.
Right. But how do I get to there? That's what I'm
Right.
trying to find out, I don't know what ACC is. I want to change the color of my deck. What do I have to do?
I mean, maybe if we wrote it out, Architectural Control Committee instead
Yeah.
of you probably
Here's a
already-
thought. I'm on the website for what I believe is the largest HOA in the nation. They have a section that says homeowner information,
Uh-huh.
and I would kind of think it would be in there. If you're it's just kind of a general blurb about being a homeowner here. Now, they don't really do a good job of putting ACC type documents here as well. They just kind of have a link to also the design control documents. That doesn't really tell me as a homeowner, coming to an HOA. It doesn't really tell me what exactly that is, but my guess is that's probably going to give me the documents that I'm looking for as far as what's restricted, what's not restricted. But I think that maybe that's the term we're looking for here is homeowner information.
Okay.
And maybe if we have sort of a blanket for that. I know we kind of have it listed as resident resources here, but resident resources is sort of I kind of feel like it's,
It's pretty vast.
yeah, it's it maybe, owning.
And
a
it sounds
home.
like maybe it's going to be a lot of documents, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Or linking out, sort of.
Yeah.
I think
we can-
homeowner information's a good way to put it.
I mean, they've got two sections here. So their website's not really that great either.
Right.
But, there's like a homeowner information, and then there's homeowners' rights and responsibilities. I don't know.
Well, we can explore that some more. I wonder, and I'm not sure what our bylaws say about this and ACC's rules, but I wonder if you can have this stuff online, like digital. Do we have it digital? Some of the forms,
Yeah.
like where you
I
can
mean,
submit it
Oh,
via a form?
it might be hard because, I mean, specifically for like exterior alteration requests, the ACC likes to sometimes come and view the paint chips that were turned in.
Gotcha.
And every computer and every printer is kind of different.
Yeah,
So I don't know how we would essentially standardize that.
it's just a thought. We can tackle that another time. But yeah, I get that with the color and stuff. Well, I know, John, you have to get going here soon, right?
Yeah, we're gonna need to close the meeting here shortly.
Okay.
We can open up for finance.
Well, we'll move the packet to next time. And then just if you could just take a little bit more time with this, and if you have any ideas on this flow chart, just email them to the committee email so we can all talk to them. I'm going to get with Joel and make him look at this. But yeah, if you have any other thoughts, and then the next step, I guess, would be to come up with some looks, and eventually what I would like to do is put out some bids on this with, kind of like a tiered level bids. Like if we did this much in-house and you develop this bit, like what's that going to cost? Or if you did the full shebang and stuff like that. And then I would ask the board for permission to do that stuff first, but that's where I'd like to get to and see what it would end up costing.
And is there maintenance and upkeep too? Or is that something we'd?
I mean, what I would like to do is try to make this as easy as possible for John, Lauren, Oryx, whoever needs to do updates to it, to do that. We want this to be both user-friendly at the front end for people visiting and at the back end for people that need to make the updates, So that's another thing to think about. And I know we talked about it briefly, but pain points and when you're actually physically in there making changes and what you would like to see, because if we could get that stuff covered, it'll save a lot of time and be less of a headache. But I think we should probably wrap this up now because it's time.
Yeah.
So can I get a motion? Oh, well, we have property owner comments, but I don't think we have anybody watching, right?
That's correct. Yeah, no attendees tonight.
Okay.
Josh, could you send that flow chart to me again? I have it probably buried somewhere, but might be a expedition.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
I will do that right after this.
Cool, thank you.
So who wants to adjourn us?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John.